Welcome back to Saturday in America, live from AmFest. This year's event comes at a tumultuous time for our young Americans. Axios reports that Gen Z has lost faith in America. Look at this, 57% say the country is moving in the wrong direction. And intense political polarization is among the top reasons why. Now, Turning Point USA is working to combat that trend and engage in healthy, productive debate back and forth. And yesterday, Erica Kirk continued Charlie's legacy for a Prove Me Wrong event where she picked up the mic, picked up the torch from her husband, and asked for questions. Any question could be asked of her, oppositional, friendly. That is the legacy of Charlie Kirk. And with me now is Students for Life of America President Kristen Hawkins and host of Culture Apothecary, Alex Clark. Alex, you know, when I saw that poll, Gen Z disillusioned, and a big part of that's political polarization, I immediately thought about what Turning Point's about. And that's back and forth, and that's engaging with different ideas and eliminating some of that polarization just by civil discourse. I think that may be the remedy, having conversations with people who think differently.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Kaylee. And another thing that Charlie was really talking about right before he was murdered was housing costs. Gen Z right now doesn't feel like this country works for them, and they're completely disillusioned. If you feel like you have no future, why are you going to be invested in your country? And so I think if we can kind of get down to the economic situation that they're feeling and giving them hope for a future, that they can own a home one day and things like that, I think that we're going to see them more plugged in politically. But right now they're like, what's the point?
Right, no doubt about it. And look, Democrats aren't doing themselves any favors. I mean, Kristen, I'm going to pull up the approval rating for Democrats in Congress. It is 18%. It's not great. And when you compare on issues, I'm going to bring this up later, on the economy, on immigration, Trump and Republicans are actually doing better, but you can't take the base for granted. I know you're a big pro-life advocate. You can't take the tried and true conservatives for granted, and young people certainly.
That's right. And when you think about young people losing faith in the political process, when you elect leaders who go to Congress who say that they're pro-life, they say that they're against the violence of abortion, but then continue to fund Planned Parenthood, continue to fund the abortion industry, that's one of the biggest things we hear on campuses. Well, it doesn't really matter because they'll say all these things in the election, but when they go to serve, they're all about keeping their jobs. And so if you want to get young people to be truly invested, willing to go door to door, not just get out to vote, but actually get others out to vote, you have to do what you say you're going to do. But I think it's actually a deeper problem when you say we're losing faith in America. Something I spoke about on the stage last night was the polls that are coming out showing this is the least church generation in American history. This is the first generation in polling history with under 50% identifying as Christians.
Wow.
When I'm on campuses, the fundamental question abortion comes down to is what is inside of a mother, a unique human life, worthy of protection? Is that life worthy of protection? And when I can't get someone to understand what's happening there, I'll back up the conversation and say, well, is your life worthy of protection? Is your life valuable? And they can't answer that question, Kaylee.
Wow.
And if you can't answer that question, that tells me you don't believe that the God who spoke the universe into existence made you on purpose for a purpose, and you have value. And if you don't have value, a tiny, helpless human who might be temporarily inconvenient to you is certainly not going to have value. And if you don't have value yourself, you're not going to have value in our country. So if we're going to make this generation excited about this amazing country we are blessed to wake up in every day, they first have to understand that their life is a gift and worthy of living themselves.
That is beautifully said. And you know, you look on social media and this young generation compares, and it's not about that. And we know God says he knows the very number of hairs on your head. I mean, that's inconceivable. That's how much you're loved and valued, and
That's
you
right.
have an identity that was created for a purpose. Alex, I want to talk a little bit about politics here. So Turning Point USA has endorsed J.D. Vance for all intents and purposes. AOC thinks she's got this. Let's watch that. Here's AOC.
Listen, these polls, like 3 years out, are, you know, they are what they are, but let the record show I would stomp him. I would stomp him.
She has a big young following, but she'll stomp him? I mean,
She is completely out of her mind. So here's the thing.
She was really excited
Tell
about
us
that
how you really
marijuana
feel.
declassification is what I saw. That.
So AOC is in this perfect blue bubble in New York City, right? That's where she's from. And it's easy to stand out and become a star when you're in a thought bubble like that and you're on cable news, when you have really strict ideological views like she does. J.D. Vance is a coalition builder. People are forgetting that he won Ohio statewide, and that is one of the most competitive states. He was talking to Democrats. He was talking to blue-collar workers. J.D. Vance is a person of the people, actually out and about, just like President Trump, which is why President Trump is so beloved. So this idea that she thinks that she's got this like teeny pocket and she's going to be able to stomp J.D. Vance in 2028. Sorry, I don't know what you're smoking, but
we know what it is. I pay for that debate. I actually want to see that
Yes.
debate.
I do too. And look, you brought up housing, and I do think that's important because Charlie said when young people don't have economic resources, they turn to socialism. And yes, Mamdani, deep blue New York, Seattle, crazy socialist, deep blue Seattle. But people can turn if they don't have the resources and they don't have hope.
That's exactly right. And even with Madami in the election, I've seen a lot on the Twitter sphere, right, of this blaming of young women. Well, it's young women who keep electing these socialists. And we've got to be strategic as we go into 2026, as we go into 2020. This is what is so incredible about this time that Erica is in now in leadership at Turning Point. We've got to come for the young women. What Alex, you're doing every day online, talking to young women about this chemicals that we've been putting into our body. We were told to sit down and shut up for 50 years about fake hormones that we've been putting in our bodies to make our bodies like a normative male body. And no one asks any questions. And young women are going, wait a minute. Hormonal birth control is really bad for us. And you're asking tough questions, and that resonates with this generation. We've got to start speaking to her, and we need to tell her why socialism is only going to lead to despair and destruction like it has in every country and every time it's ever been tried.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I love that. And we have work to do with young women. I believe it was something like 80% of young women voted for Mamdani, which is inconceivable. But you guys are doing that work. Thank you. Alex Clark, Kristen Hawkins. Come back soon.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.